How are we going, everybody? Well, from the extreme heat wave that we had a couple of days ago to this cold temperature, it's plummeted down to 16. Doesn't sound like it's very low, but the high wind, and it's really windy out there. We're in our little courtyard here, which is well protected by the conifer hedge all the way around. And we were doing a segment the other day on the fruit protection netting to stop the birds, that is. And when I came to this beautiful peach tree, which is doing tremendously well considering we nearly lost it, we've got branches that are weighed down by all the fruit, all the way down there, just completely weighed down, and on this side as well. So we've got two branches and we've got this huge void here now. So I'm going to try and get these branches propped back up because I don't like the stress on them. And I know some of the branches where they're fruiting, the finer ones, for example here. Wow, wait a second, I haven't even looked at this properly. This is, look at this tiny little branch. It just starts from here, and it's got 1, 2, 3 peaches on there, and another 2 here. This little branch here, wait, there's more, and there's another 2 here. So we've got 3, 5, 7 peaches. Each one would weigh, what, 150 grams, something like that, maybe 200 grams. So you got 7, about 1.5 kilos on this branch that's weighed down. Now that's a little one. These are bigger branches. For example, here, that there, I just dropped a peach. Oh, the things I do for you guys, the sacrifices I make. Anyway, I'm going to prop this one up as well. I didn't account for that because I got another branch in here. This one down in here. Look at this one carefully before I destroy it. That's probably got about 20 peaches on there. So we're going to prop that one up, and this one over here. That's the gap that I initially saw, and I've cut myself a bit of timber to do that. Now, there are many ways you can prop them up. You can set up a scaffold on either side of the branch. You can simply wedge a piece of wood underneath it, which is something that we're going to do, but I'm going to show you some finer points about doing that, because it's not just getting a straight out piece of timber like this and shoving it there, because there are a lot of issues to factor in. Movement, abrasion as well, and obviously positioning on it so that you get it in the right spot so it doesn't snap where it's sitting on here, because you'll find weak joints or points on the branch along it. And the best way to know is by doing it by hand first, providing it's not a big trunk like that. There are times where branches will split completely, and if they're a very precious tree and you see it in time, you can bring them back together again, but you'll have to bolt them together. So the split that happens, and it generally gets pulled back together again, the cambium layers lined up, and then bolts put through it, and a plate around it, and wrapped around as well to hold it together. This is not one of those circumstances. We've got an arching branch which can split, and if you take a close look where the branch starts from, there is where it will break, as well as some of these points here. Keep in mind, if the tree is healthy and it's got good moisture traveling through it, the branches are quite pliable. They do have a little bit of flex in them and compensate for the weight. So what I've done now, or what I'm doing now is trying to get in here, what I've done at the top as well is just cut a little really rough cut, guys. Don't judge me on this. I just did it quickly for the segment. It's cut a little V joint in there, so we've got a lower spot in the middle that stops the branch from sliding off the edges. So that's the most important thing to do. Otherwise, you'll be sitting it on there, worried about it moving and trying to tie it down to it. This way you don't. But before we establish or place the branch onto here, we've got to establish how high we can lift it without putting too much strain on the rest of it. Here, yeah, not bad. I can do it here. How's that look so far? Not bad. What I'm going to do is estimate, we're talking about 30 centimetres off it. So there, just knocked another bloody peach off. So just cut off about, less than 30. I've gone to about 20 centimetres by eye. And now I just want to cut a little point on the end. So, yeah, it's still pointy, all right. So I can wedge that into the soil and stop it from sliding around, because otherwise a flat base, if you put it on flat, it can slip around like this. We can push it in. Even that much is enough to stop it from falling over. Now, this is a single brace, single stick. You can put multiple sticks. You can create, if I could just show you, If you want to, you can create something like that, sort of an A-frame on it, and then you can have it sitting in the middle of those two. So you've got to cut these nice and clean, join that together, put a bolt or a screw through the two of them, nail them together if you want, but remember, it can slide this way if the tree is very, prone to high winds and moves around with the high winds as well. So you may need to put a third anchor point. So a little TP, that's the best way. Single way for this space here is ample because the weight of the branch will keep it down. The base of this will be pegged into the ground and we really get no wind in this section here by comparison to what goes on outside there. So let's test it out. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Hello. Now, can you see what I've just done? It's just sitting there neatly. Now, the problem with that is, even though it's sort of hardwood there, it's sitting on top of wood, if there is movement, I don't want it to become abrasive and I don't want it to cut into the cambium layer. This little section here is taking the brunt of the weight, so it's putting a lot of pressure on the bark and reducing the flow of the juices or moisture around the bottom part there. So it will compensate by going over the top, but we can help it along with a little bit of chucks or an old rag if you like. Wrap the cloth around it like this so it protects it. And you can go on a slight angle if you want with the stick. Once you've put it in position, look at the level on it. You need a level, get a level out if you can't do it by eye. At the moment, the way it is, it's got a lean. So the top is leaning across. So I've got to lift it up and move the stick. Oh, not too far. There we are, like that. But the bottom part's slightly away from the trunk, just slightly away. And I'm just pressing it down. So let's just move that around and see what happens. It's holding it. It can actually go back a little bit. I've gone too far across. If you want to be super, super accurate, get a sleechy, smash it down a bit, make sure you cut it a little bit oversized, the timber, so that its final resting height is the height you want it to be at. So the cloth there like that to protect it, it's in the ground. I can wobble it around. It's fine. It can't go forward or back. That's all I need to do. Not a lot of wind here. But if you look up there, there's plenty. And now I can bag the rest of my fruit, folks, because the first year that I'm getting some decent fruit on this tree, and the last thing I want to do is lose them to the birds. Fruit protection bag is on there and the fruit is off the ground. These are the ones that have fallen on the ground. You see there's been a couple of pecks at it already. Oh, that's soft. I just feel like eating it. So we'll put that on there. Look at it, how far down it's gone. Oh, geez, come on. Okay, that's going to go on an angle like that. I can't go any further. Oh, I can go further actually. Look at this. We've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 peaches on this one branch. They can have a field day on this tree if they take hold of it. Look, again, I know some of you will say these bags will be eaten by right through by the birds, especially the lorikeets, but I've got a lot of trees here. If I lose a few fruit, that's okay, but if I lose them all, that's not okay. So hopefully, I'm not going to be able to cover every single fruit, so hopefully the fruit that I leave them is the fruit they go to, and they leave these ones alone. 14 peaches, mate, just on the one branch. Okay, we nearly got them all in. It's a delicate process, folks. I don't want to drop any more peaches. There we go. I reckon this is the best one, the sock or the sleeve. Look at this. All the way up to the top. I'm going to pull the drawstring tight, like that. I'll just tie a knot. That's it. And at the bottom as well. All right, so we've saved at least 40 fruit so far. There's a lot of fruit. If you can cover every single tree, I'd love to see a photo. If you've got the fruit protection bags going there, and if you've got branches, more importantly, if you've got branches leaning down, get them off the ground. If they are looking battered and worse for wear, maybe prune them off. It's best to get rid of any disease or damaged branch on the tree, especially if they're broken. So otherwise, prop them up with a stake. Consider using 2 if you need to, but don't tie unless it's a really strong overhead branch, don't tie the bottom branch that's leaning over to a top branch, because the chances are you're going to bring the top branch down as well. But remember to wrap them around with a little bit of material to protect any bruising or cutting into the actual cambium layer. So look after your trees, especially with the high winds and the crazy weather we're having, and get yourself some fruit protection bags if you've got pests in the garden that otherwise destroy your trees and or flowering plants and veggies as well. Vasili'sGarden.com from me, Vasili. Maresi.